Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now.
All right, welcome to Hyphenate Halftime for a Monday, September 23rd. Month is almost gone. Mr. Aaron Farley, how do you do this Monday, April 23rd, September 23rd?
Oh, boy, this Monday sure is. It sure still feels like Sunday to me.
Oh, yeah. We were joking before we turn on the mics. We've both become super soccer dads. What was your soccer weekend consisting of? How many soccer games? How much football could you fit in one weekend?
Football, just one this weekend, but it was in Santa Barbara. So
that's far.
So we drove. Let's see, we drove last night after a birthday party.
Oh Lord!
We left Lake Arrowhead at 9:30
at night.
And went to, because we were staying in Camarillo.
Oh, that's nice, right? Yeah,
and
get you up there closer.
Yeah, but then we're on the way down the hill. There was some kind of, I don't know what happened, but there were like 6 cop cars on the 18, and the whole mountain was shut down. So, or the 18 was shut down, so we had to go back up and around all the way through Crestline, the back way, and so it was like a. Okay. Yep.
Now it's 10 o'clock. Okay. You're rerouting.
All right.
Like, okay.
Yeah, we're rerouting. By midnight. We got to Camarillo around midnight, and then he had his game this morning in Santa Barbara, which is an hour from Camarillo, which is a normal LA drive for anything. It's like 1 hour.
It's a 7 a.m. Kickoff.
Not that early. We at least had an 11:30 game, so it was good. Yeah, 11:30. But
there was one moment of kindness that shined on you.
Yeah. And then on the way home, they're doing construction. So it took an hour and 45 minutes to get back just to Camarillo.
Oh, Lord.
And then we were in Camarillo for an hour, and we had to drive back to Arrowhead, which was 2.5 hours. So, so I did a lot of
traveling soccer.
Definitely 7 times as much driving as soccer game time.
Well, but how did you do? Did you win the game?
No, 0-1. 0-1.
Okay.
They were. It was okay. It was not their best. It was not their best game. It
was an away game. Travel. They could pick up the stress on all the dads. You and all the other dads just commiserating on the sidelines.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. Who knows? It's fun.
It happens. It's good. You'll always remember it.
Yes, totally. It'll never 100%. Be forgotten. How was your game? How was your game yesterday?
It was good. Yeah.
You had a 9 a.m. game.
We had 2. Yeah.
I mean, sorry, 2 days ago.
We had back to back. Now it's fun. It's we're doing good. I missed the second one because I drove to San Diego and played a show and then drove.
Oh right, how was you had 2 shows this weekend?
At San Pedro on Friday,
and how were those?
San Diego on Saturday. It was great. It was great. I realized
ensemble.
I love driving and I love playing loud music. So anything that combines those two, hey, this is living the dream.
That's amazing. I should have booked you a show in Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. Yeah.
We could have both driven there together. We could have done a soccer game, and you could have done a show, and then
Yeah, well, it was nice because we carpooled in one car, I guess, or we loaded the tour van, the tour SUV, and drove as a band. So that was nice.
That's awesome.
So it didn't feel like playing an in-town show where everyone takes their own cars and kind of shows up and
How many people are in the band at this moment?
So these 2 shows, there was just it was a trio. It was me and Scott Cornish on guitar and Leslie Ashino on drums. So it was really good.
Oh, awesome!
It was fun. This was the most pared back it's been. Yeah. We were in the zone, as you would say.
Are they the same songs? Just because that's like a totally different band, right? Or is Scott
Yeah.
always in the band?
Scott's always been in the band. Les has always been on
Okay.
drums. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I mean, it's
and you've just added other people here and there.
Yeah. We've had. It was a
For
5-piece when it
shows.
started, and it's
Got
you know, I'm sure anybody who's played in music, in their 20s and now finds himself somewhere in their 40s, like it's different. It's a different. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Try to schedule practices, play shows, do all the stuff. People have kids and other
Totally.
other responsibilities, and then music is it's off to the side. So it's fun. I mean, I don't regret it. I don't begrudge the place I'm at. It's fun. It's fun to still get to do it and still be playing shows. I think
that's awesome.
I think it's good, but it's scheduling's hard. But I guess it's always been hard. But I got lucky. I played in the 2-piece for decades, and so it's pretty easy to schedule things that way. Can you do it? Yes, no, let's go. And then,
but even that has its difficulties.
Of course,
doing anything.
Yeah. That's exactly. Doing anything is hard. Why do we do it at all? Let's just give up.
Yeah.
Let's stop. This is hard. Everything is hard.
All right, that's the podcast.
Yep. All right, good night.
Too hard. It's too difficult.
It's
much too difficult. We've scheduled enough.
I loved what I hear was the opposite of easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's like hard, lemon hard, orange hard. It's all hard all the time.
Orange it difficult to get anything happening.
Yes. But it all makes it all worth it. But it's fun. But I like San Diego. It was cool. We played in North Park area. It's like the kind of hip, cool part. We got some good food. Kind of hung out for a little bit, and then.
Who did you play with again?
With the one and only Mr. Conan Neutron.
Oh right,
Conan
how was
Neutron
that?
And the Secret Friends. It was great.
Yeah.
He's great. Yeah. He's loud as hell. It's really fun. I interviewed him for his 400th podcast episode. Like he asked, he was in town because he was recording with Toshi, former Hyphenate guest, Toshi Kasai, and former guest Dale Crover. So he records with Dale and Toshi here, close up just 10 minutes from the house. And he hit me up and he was like, would you want to interview me for my podcast? I was like, sure, that sounds like fun. As something different for his 400th episode, instead of having a guest, he gets to be the guest.
That's awesome.
So it was fun. I think we did almost 2 hours. It was a very different kind of. I was like, wow. I was like, I'm just gonna keep. Like, I don't know if I'm really the host. I figured he would cut it off, but he was having fun talking. So we did that last week.
That's awesome. And then their recording experience was like the Randy Randall experience. They'd all been on the Hyphenate podcast.
Yeah.
All Hyphenate, it was fun. Guests.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of podcasting and music and loud guitars this weekend. That was nice. Like I say, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's like for all of the challenges, whatever it is, I can't shake a stick at it. This is what I signed up for. This is the good stuff. Yeah. It's like when you're having the kids and all of the like, oh, what's going on? I'm so tired. I don't know where my feet are. I don't know what day it is. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then you're like, this is what I signed up for. This is the good parts. You'll miss this when it's not happening.
Totally. When there's nothing happening. I mean, I'm getting to the point too where there's less stuff happening. I mean, you still have a lot of soccer and stuff, but the kids go off on their own to do things. And I'm like, hey, what about me, guys? I'm just sitting here. What am I supposed to do?
You don't get to go to the movies with them. You drop them off. They see the movies with their friends. You're not sitting in the same row sharing popcorn with the kids. You got to just drop them off. And
yeah, not. I mean, still with Towns, but with Lila, not so much. Like, we're going to the lake. I'll see you on Wednesday.
Oh,
like, okay.
Well, if you need any help, if you need a cool guy, just call me over here. Just call Daddy. Go.
If you need anybody to fix something, give me a call and I'll call somebody for you.
Yeah, I'm good at finding people who can fix things. That isn't going to be me. Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, but September. Just cruising by. Fires are all better where you're at. No smoke.
Yeah, poured rain on Friday.
Oh wow. Okay.
So did you guys get rain? I don't know. I feel like that's the big news. Like, guys, did you see it's raining? All of a sudden you look on Instagram and everybody's like, they're not posting photos of themselves in the rain. They're posting photos of whatever window they're behind, looking outside.
Look, it's
into
raining
the rain.
Outside. Well,
there's rain on my windows.
Well, I think the Southern California experience was, 120 degrees, and then 3 or 4 consecutive fires going on, just covered in smoke. And then within like 10 days, it's dropped down now to 70, and there's rain. some places.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, it feels dramatic. These are extreme weather events. It's like,
yeah, it's kind of like, and I feel like it's like that every year. I mean, it doesn't seem like it. It always seems like we're like, oh, we kind of coast into winter, but that's not true. There's really like there's like 2 weeks of fall and there's 2 weeks of spring.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, it goes right from being super cold to 90, and then it's kind of like up and down during the summer, and then it does the same. I mean, so on, what was it, that last day that was crazy fires, it was probably last Thursday or Friday or whatever, like a week before that. Oh no, because Friday was the day that I drove home back here after school and like came back to the house. So that was Friday, and it was in Beaumont, it was 113 that day. And it was like smoky and it was crazy, and down below, and then up above it was like, at our place it was pretty clear, but it was really hot. And on Sunday night
this
at
is always
our house,
great for our national and global listeners. Like, hey guys,
on
Southern
Sunday
California
night,
is weird. Just if you don't know,
at Sunday night at our house, it was 39 degrees.
Oh Lord,
39. Yeah. So I went from 114 to 39 in a day and a half. Yeah,
that's the joy of
fall.
The joy of California,
Southern California fall.
We're lucky.
It happened. Yeah, I got fall for 14 hours.
You got sunburned and then and dehydrated and then frozen.
Yeah, now it's winter. I had to bring the plants inside, all this other stuff. The birds are like making nests. Like, it was just like 114 degrees the other day. Crazy.
Amazing.
Fun times.
Yeah, oh yeah. So we had Aaron Hemphill from the band Liars, now Non-Perels. I really struggled with that name. That was a tough one.
It's a weird. It's always tough when you do an interesting band name that is not spelled as you say it, because there's an I in there, right? It's like P-A-R-I-I-E. But you want to say it's like the tire company, like Pirelli, or something. But strawberry. Yeah. What was it called? Strawberry something.
Strawberry Hill.
Strawberry
Great song,
Hill,
right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Non-Perels are a flat round candy made of chocolate covered with sugar sprinkles.
Oh, so it's
like snow caps.
So it's an actual thing. Oh, okay.
I guess so, yeah.
I probably have eaten one of those. Yeah. It was awesome, and Aaron's awesome. I've met him. I got to shoot Liars twice, 3 times for Enemy. I don't remember what for. For the Enemy, I think twice, and then maybe for something else. I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's how I met Julian, and that was always like,
got it.
They were one of those bands. Yeah, they're awesome, and they're super arty and weird, and then they're another one of those bands where I got the email from the Enemy of like, hey, do you want to go over and shoot the band Liars in the studio? And I was like, yeah, of course. That band's amazing. But then instantly I was like, oh, my photos, whatever I shoot is not going to do them justice, because their stuff is so like super creative directed always. I mean, it turned out it was Julian at that point. Yeah. Like, Julian was doing all of their stuff, and it was that the first time was their album with they had all the yarn.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Yeah.
And so, I was like, here's the drummer Julian. Here's his email, and so I emailed him. He was like, yeah, cool. So here's my idea. And I was like,
you just got creative direction already happening on you. You're like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I have a $75 budget. That's me. That's what I'm getting paid. I don't have money. So, okay. So I have this thing. So we got all this yarn everywhere. And then he kind of sends me some stuff. And I think the first one, I kind of just did photos of them recording, and it was supposed to be them recording their album. And they're like, I would get over there and they're like, oh, we're just doing mixing.
Oh no!
Like, oh shit. Okay.
Well,
they're like, we could like pretend we're recording. Like, let's just do that. Let's just go over the top. And so then they they actually hooked up the mics and really sang, like really did stuff, but they weren't actually recording, but they were actually like the music was actually going and they were actually singing it in the mics, and like, so it was like an actual recording session, but they just were not recording.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and it was fun. And we did like some interesting, I don't know. Maybe they're laying on the ground. I don't know. I don't remember, but it was fun. It was super fun. It was super nice meeting those guys. And then I got to shoot photos of them at the studio at XIX at Jeremy and Claire's place.
Oh yeah.
And but that was the one where it was like, well, now you have a $300 budget.
Whoa.
And I'm like, wow, okay, we're gonna really go crazy. And Julian's like, hey, have you ever seen that, like that Indian like colored dust that they use for the Holi Festival?
Oh yeah.
And so I had to source some of that, which I did at India Sweets and Spices. They had a whole pile of it. And then he's like, we went and got breakaway bottles, like candy, the bottles that are made out of like sugar glass or whatever. And so we filled those up with, I'll send you these photos too. I can find them, but yeah. And that was Julian too. He's like, and then you're going to hit us we'll hit each other over the head with it. And when it explodes, we'll take photos and we'll have all the color exploding, and we're going to wear all white. And it was amazing. And then that Holi dust is still at XIX
everywhere
in the cracks. So if you ever shoot there, any photographers, if you ever shoot in the studio, look in the cracks of the corners of the XIX and you'll still see like pink Holi dust. And that was 10 years ago, maybe 10 or 12.
Oh my God.
That stuff is still there. But anyway, that's where I met Aaron, and he's like the nicest dude. And all those guys were super cool and weird and down for, like, I was doing a bunch of projections. It was that same time I did projections of you guys.
Yeah.
That same like where I was trying to do double projections of everything. It was my projection.
It was my projection phase.
It's just a phase. My mom was right. It was just a phase.
Projection's not dead. It can be it can be your record. I was stoked to talk with him, and it was good to kind of catch up and and just hear what he's been up to and kind of how Berlin's going and making this record. Yeah, it's a beautiful record. I hope everybody gets a chance to go hear it, and hopefully he'll come out on tour. It didn't sound like there was a definitive live activation happening, but it'd be cool to see what he puts together. I mean, really,
well, it's a great record. Sounds like what you were talking about before with the with it just. As you get older, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this record. It's going to be great. We'll go on a tour. It's easy, right? Like that's what we used to do. We used to do that all the time. Call someone, you have a record, and they're like, great, here, we're going to book you. And and now it's like, oh no, this might take like I think he said, it's like, yeah, I have an idea of a band, and it'll probably take me about a year to get it together.
It's like, but the record's coming out now, right? Don't you want to have those things timed? Like, it's going to be a while. I'm like, yeah, that's fun.
But the interesting thing too, though, now is that now all like the records just exist forever, so they're just they're just up now. So
is that how that works? I haven't figured out how records work yet.
Well,
there's a new way. It's like you're constantly promoting it. You just promote it for like 6 months, and then you play a couple shows, and then you promote it some more, and people figure it out.
But you're not storing it in a box where you're like, oh, I got to get rid of these things. Now you're like, well, I put it somewhere. People can click on it now. I guess that's a thing. That's a real thing, right? That exists in real life.
Yeah.
And then eventually
you can tour a year after the record comes out. Yeah, they might. Yeah, if people will keep clicking on it.
You just want those little fingers to go click, click, click every once in a while.
Click on
a couple times a day, maybe. Get me on some playlists.
Oh,
who knows?
It's confusing. I just in the sense that I think everyone worked so hard, for so long to have coordinated efforts and timed releases and music videos and press, and it all happened at a certain time in order. And then you'd say like, hey, we sold 30,000 records. Like, wow, good job everybody, the team. All of the effort worked because here's the amount of things that were sold. Wow, look at that. Isn't that interesting? And then now there's like, well, there's nothing really to be sold. So good job, everybody. You just, It's streamed. It streamed a lot, maybe, or didn't stream at all, or do I even care if it streams because no one's going to get paid for it anyway? So
yeah,
I don't know, just keep do another one and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing I know: it exists. Yeah, that's for sure.
Way to go! Yay!
Until the electricity goes out, this is real.
Oh, is streaming like the participation trophy of like life? Like it's like, yay! You put a record out! Woohoo!
Yeah.
Like, was it good? Like, sure. Did people listen to it? Probably. Does it matter?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I was thinking.
Did I get on a magazine cover? What's a magazine? Oh, all right.
Yeah. Why would we make one of those?
That sounds like a waste of money.
There's nowhere to sell it.
Yeah. Who would buy such a thing?
If it doesn't exist,
a CD and a magazine. That sounds
Barnes and what? Will they sell Barnes there?
I might as well go to a soda shop and get a chocolate malted and listen to the jukebox. I guess this is what our parents. Yeah. It's officially entering the old man phase. Like, oh yeah, okay. I guess it happened to our parents. It'll happen to us.
Yeah, I don't know how much any of it matters. Honestly, I just like when I just went to go get more old man stuff. When I just went to we got home and I'm like, oh man, I got to go to the store and grab some milk and just normal stuff. And I I got to get some fruit and stuff for lunches and whatever. And they're like $81.90. It was like $81
for strawberries, milk.
For how many? So there's bread. 3 bags. There's 3 bags of groceries, and I just got normal stuff. I did get some dog food, but not expensive dog food.
Yeah. Now you're living.
And it was enough groceries that I could carry it in both hands, so I didn't have to take it out in a cart. Right? Like I had both hands, and I was like, "This is almost $90 worth of food."
Mm-hmm.
This might be I feel like this is the main problem.
Sustainable. This is not.
Yeah, whatever this is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like when Michelle and I, we both have like good full-time jobs, and I'm looking at the groceries and going, ooh,
$100.
Okay.
Just
what am I
gonna store real quick?
What am I gonna not have to? What am I gonna not get to buy this week because of bread and bread and milk and eggs?
Yeah, what can we cut out? What's the thing you cut out? Like, well, the bread, I guess we don't need the bread. Does everybody like bread?
Medicine. That's what you cut out. Right. You just don't get. You just whatever medicine you need.
So that's what was it? Oh yeah, when the jar of peanut butter went from $4 to $8. That was the hard one. I was like, oh, and then what was it? Just recently, olive oil. And again, this is just for for being an old man. Like, bought a big thing of olive oil. It was under $20, maybe over 10, somewhere in that. Well, that's what it used to be. Olive oil. You big thing of olive oil. Okay, again, splurging maybe extra virgin olive oil. Just so the good stuff. And $40, 36 something. You know what I mean? Like all the closer to if you rounded it would be almost $40. And I was like,
well, good thing you can just eat olive oil for a whole week, Randy.
I was like, can I recycle this? Do a stir fry and kind of squeeze all the oil back out into the pan.
You get your 5 cents back with the recycling.
That one, that was definitely those light bulb moments of like, I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work anymore.
Something tells me that corporations are consolidating all of these things, including music and groceries. Gas. And it seems like this consolidation is not great for everybody. I'm just going to put that out there. I've heard a couple songs about that.
Is that what happens?
I guess so. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Until you get called a crackpot. Listen here, crackpot. What, you think everybody's so worried about you, buddy? Come on.
Yeah.
Just keep working.
We'll see. Groceries are a thing now. I never really thought
it's not a big deal.
I had
eggs are $8. That's not. Come on. Let's be honest. That's pretty cheap for eggs. Think of how much work goes into those eggs.
I got pretty good at being really broke, those college and right after college years, the 20s.
Yeah.
And And I remember because I was just cooking for myself, and I'd go to the cheaper supermarket, and I remember they charged like produce by the pound, and I'd break off the heads of the broccoli. I was like, why am I paying for like the stems of broccoli? Like that's just
Oh,
I just
that's
throw that stuff
amazing.
away anyway. I'm not cooking the stem of the broccoli part. I
Yeah.
just really need the florets or the heads of it. And so I would literally go in there and like, as I'm putting it in there, again, this is like, I don't know, the difference between like $3 and $2.50 or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I was like, oh,
It's
let's
huge.
break this off. Boom, there we go. And I could get away, and you get away with whatever a single person's thing of groceries for under $20 for the week.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this works, and I'd throw it in my messenger bag and ride my single speed road bike back to my little apartment by myself, and I weighed 170 pounds and rode a bike everywhere and ate vegan food that was like that ripped the heads off of it. You could live live for pennies. Oh,
yeah.
the days.
I mean, but then also you look at all of that stuff and you go, yeah, but I was also paying $350 a month for rent.
Right. This is what happens.
So like, these things are. I mean, I was looking at old photos, bringing up like because when we had to leave for the fires, the only thing I really brought was like my filing cabinets full of old negatives and stuff. And I have photos from the first Iraq War protests. Remember those funny things? Those old protests, and which was what 2003, 2004, something like that.
Sounds right.
And everything was about oil, right? Like no blood for oil and all this stuff. Right. And there all these signs. And one of the signs that one of the guys is carrying says no blood for oil, or $1.09 get for a gallon of blood. And I was like, $1.09?
Oh,
was
geez.
that how much gas was back then? Was $1.09? We were complaining about gas being $1.09, and it had gone up. I do remember when I moved to LA in the 2000s was when gas went over $1 a gallon. Mm-hmm. And I think about that now, and I'm like, wow, if we only knew how good we had it back then. Someday, kids, it will go up. I mean, I remember when I went to Australia in like 2007, and their gas is like $3, but for a liter. So and it cost our buddy like $70 to fill up his car, and I was like, how do you even do it? How do you live? This is insane. And now my car, it's like $70 to fill up my car. I'm like, well, I guess you don't live. You barely live. Actually, that's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
It gets
great. Well, you just adjust what comes in too. Like, okay, well now I just need to like make more money, hopefully.
Well, now I cut all the stalks off my broccoli.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
And then just water down the milk, you know what I mean? Put a little flour in the eggs, you can stretch it out.
Yeah.
It could be done.
Vitamins.
Yeah.
Just lots of vitamins.
Yeah. Plastics. Just start
no
eating
food.
More plastic.
Yeah.
More
microplastics.
Yeah.
Microplastics and vitamins, like really they coat. What they do is they coat the inside. I heard this on a podcast.
Oh, good. Yeah.
They coat the inside of your whole system.
It was a different podcast.
It was a different one. It was one of the. Okay. It was in the same family though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're super smart guys. So they talk about not being able to. If you eat enough plastics, it actually keeps your body just the same, right? So you can't.
Perfect, yeah.
So you don't get any bigger.
You don't get older.
You don't get age because there's nothing can come in and nothing can go out. So it just stays.
That's really what you want to
stay the same size all the time.
Nothing in, nothing out. That's the hope.
Yeah,
for
just a little bit of water to
digestion.
Keep it clean a little bit. But
you wash it soap and water and keep it clean. Plastic.
And you sit
plastic colon. You're gonna do great.
And what you want to do is you want to sit as still as possible, so you really try not to exert any energy,
heat,
no energy, no heat. You really you stop talking, and you really there's a big part of you sit in a cave, and for a while, and you just think thoughts, and use the sun
thoughts.
for energy.
Yeah.
So just
Positive
you
thoughts.
let the sun come
Oh
through
my
your
God.
skin. It's called photosynthesis, I think.
I remember hearing
So
somebody say they were a breatharian. Did you ever hear the term breatharian?
I've heard
They
all
just
of
breathe?
it. Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard the
You
sun
just
eaters.
eat
Have
off
you
the
heard
root?
about sun eaters?
No, sun eater sounds good.
Oh yeah, that you can the people that can only live
Like
off of,
photosynthesis.
they live off sunshine.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
because
That sounds fun.
it creates vitamin D, right?
Okay, yeah, you need that.
And so as long as you have your vitamin D and you just sit and you let the sun come in and you just focus, and then really hunger is just your body being weak,
wanting to eat. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you really can get all of your energy just from the sun and water. So
hey,
sun and water.
don't you need
It's
like
super
soil?
Easy.
Some like nutrients from the soil your
No, you
roots
don't
can
need
take
any
up.
of
You
that.
maybe need
We're
to eat some
humans,
dirt.
Randy. We're
roll
not
around in dirt.
animals.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What do you think? We're animals?
We're
We're
plants.
human beings.
I think
Randy.
we're goblins.
We live off of photosynthesis. There's trust me. I heard it on another pod. It's different podcast. But so like the microplastics guys were talking to the sun eaters. There has some issues, but both of them agree that you do not need any kind of food. That food is actually a corporate mandate. It's a corporate construct, and that if all of the books that we think are old that are talk about these things were actually created in the 40s. There aren't books, but old books. History doesn't exist because history is created through books that were pretend were old, like Plato. All those that's not even real, right? So, because that's the post.
The Earth was born 60 years ago.
No, the Earth has been around, but people before that only ate sunshine
and
drank
books.
Water. Yeah, no, because there's no need to, because everybody was perfect, and it wasn't until corporations came in and they were like, we need to create a history of why we need to create food for people to eat so they can get fat, so we can. It's big food.
Big food.
Really, what we're dealing with is big food, and history doesn't exist. I forgot to tell you that last time on the last podcast.
I'm so glad we figured that one out.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I'll send you the podcast. I can't remember what it was, but it's good. It's great.
Good. You could trust it.
Trust it. It was It was like these two guys that talk on Sunday nights. I can't remember. They get super tired and they just jabber, but it's great. It all makes sense. It all makes sense.
It sounds perfect. What one real thing I've thought about or I was having conversations about was doesn't matter. Just the just online digital archives, or just like the elimination of like just decades worth of media in the last 20 years, say 25 years, where when everything transferred to just online only, and then the server goes down, or you just another company buys it and they just wipe everything off the internet. It's the thing, like, oh yeah, but wasn't there a lot of work? Wasn't there a whole career of like writing and journalism and photos and things?
Turns out there wasn't.
There was no hard copies of those things. If there's no printed matter, no printed books or anything, like writings, photos, music, all of that stuff, it just can go out. But so say, something, not like a grid would go down or there'd be some kind of like electronic attack or anything, but just in general, electronics wear out, or there's devaluation of old media with no physical copies of it, then it's like, does it even exist? Will this be like the lost like generation we're like living in now, or like our time, or this next generation, or this next 50 years, where you look, and again, not to be too overly concerned with what millennia and 200 years from now people are how they're gonna look back on what our time was and what it meant, but in the sense that there's nothing really being written, there's no books in that regard. Maybe there's some, but there's some, for the amount of media that's consumed and produced, the longevity of it is fairly infinitesimal. Maybe that's always been the case. I guess you go back to like Dark Ages or these kinds of things, and it was like the priest just writing by hand, writing the Bible over and over by hand in candles. Like, all right, I guess that's the best you had. We don't have a podcast from the fiefdoms, or from the fields. Or
think about though that like all of the plays that were written or that were performed that nobody ever Like that never happened.
Yeah.
It's like or the musicians that, you have your Mozarts and your Bachs and whatever,
Sure.
but
There's
there
probably
had to
people
be
complaining about the
thousands.
price of milk or the price of
Oh my
eggs.
God.
Like, this guy
It
wants
was
a
probably
button.
way worse back then.
This guy wants a button for one
Yeah.
egg. The price. Have you seen the price of milk from the guy? It cost me 14 rocks for just one egg.
Milk. What's
crazy.
Milk?
Yeah. Well,
milk. You mean the thing that my niece died from?
Then. Oh well, yeah.
You drink that stuff? Ugh.
I like this dirty, brackish water that comes from the creek.
Well, I mean, the truth is that they all just drank alcohol because alcohol was safer than water, right? Like you could die from alcohol. I mean, you could die from water, but alcohol would sterilize everything. Which is why all the stuff, everything was so good back then. All the music,
drunk all the time.
Yeah, all the writing and
just living off of alcohol and
everybody
sun.
Was. Yeah, I mean, really, up
until a
couple
plagues would go through, every once in a while, or you'd get
clear.
Life expectancy was like 21.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, 30s were overrated.
But that the reason why life expectancy was so, or is
because they were partying,
averaged,
because they were fucking sick. They're dope.
No, because child mortality was so low that's averaged into the average.
Oh, Jesus.
That's true, actually. Oh, it wasn't like people were just dying at 35. It's like
so
people would still get old, but, it was pretty rough trying to have a baby.
Young people, right, yeah.
Yeah. But
who has the jokes on that? There was a comedian I saw that was like, it was really
child mortality jokes.
Yeah, child mortality jokes, infant mortality rates, or just the idea that that we complain about how hard we have it now when it was regular for people to lose multiple children under the age of 5.
Only like
that's
like
where you'd
50
have so
years
many
ago.
kids. Yeah, you'd have many, many, many children because there was a pretty good rate or pretty good chance that some of them, if not multiples of them, would die. They never make it to the age of 18. Good Lord.
Totally. I mean, I guess it's probably like that in many places in the world still.
Nah,
but
we're fine.
It was What other places are there other than the great United States of America, Randy? I mean, come on.
I gotta pay attention.
I don't have newspapers. Those things went away a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
What's
the
the
New York
news?
Times wants $1 every time I click on a story. Keep seeing the stories, but they want $1, and
I got rid of my New York Times.
I give it the office
today.
No, really?
Yeah.
People like you.
I'm like $18 a month for what? Bunch of propaganda. Click, cancel.
No, I would love to sit down with a newspaper sometime. It just feels like fantasy at this point. Like, get a cup of coffee, open up the newspaper.
I mean, I listened to
fold the paper back up, look at it for about 10 seconds, and fold it back up.
Swat a couple flies.
Look at my phone. Check Instagram.
Then go. I need to get a parakeet so I can shred this stuff up and put it right in the bottom. That's what you use this for, right?
Oh Lord.
No, I listen to half the writers anyway, like on podcasts and stuff.
Oh, there we go.
What do I need? I don't read that stuff. But what was I going to say? Oh,
this is the late night punchy podcast, not the sunny morning podcast version. We've entered into a Hyphenate halftime after dark.
Hyphenate post halftime.
Lord,
post time. Lord. Yeah. No, I mean, but really, I don't know. The last 100 years has been much different than the previous 100. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Oh. I was going to say that and I have to look up this number because I'm not going to give out an actual number, but the amount of digital, like the amount of imagery that we see now in, say, like a week is more than the average person used to see in a matter of a lifetime, like only 30 years ago.
Amount of photos, like only videos,
or like not 30 years ago, maybe 60 years ago, right? Like when you used to maybe you'd see images on your television and then you'd see a couple billboards, right? And a newspaper,
magazine,
and a magazine,
maybe a film,
right? But you're not sitting, you're not going through like I'm gonna read 45 magazines today. Okay, right. I'm gonna look at every single, like maybe you're looking at an magazine a couple times a week,
Or it's one, and it's one magazine. You see the same image over and over again.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at that one story.
Yeah, totally. And you go to the grocery store and you see some advertisements, but really, that's kind of it. And now, just the amount that you see on Instagram, like scrolling Instagram for, say, an hour, you're like looking through stuff and you're messaging people and whatever. You're probably seeing more images than we even saw in a week, like 10 years ago.
Wow.
Like pre-Instagram.
What does that do to people's
I don't know.
brain? Have we reached the capacity of the human like ability to digest and process images, messages, advertising?
Or does it even matter? Or are we just
is
just kind of like, I don't know. I'm just trying to get a little dopamine rush before I go to bed. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what it does. It seems like the weird thing is it seems like it affects things, but I have to say, being in like middle school, like around middle school kids all day during the week, that they it doesn't seem that different than when we were in school. Like, you know,
that's good.
But it's different. They definitely are more worldly than we were. Like, they know more stuff and things change faster. But like the way that they communicate with each other and the way like they still do the same dumb stuff and they still
jokes work.
Oh yeah. It's the same thing. Half of them are still learning the same stuff that we learned, you know? This probably half of it's wrong. I don't know. I don't even know. Similar books, very similar. But that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how much, like if the whole thing turned off, I wonder how much we'd freak out for like, maybe it's setting us up to just be ready for consistent change. You know, like really, like even when they put out all of the, like, our military actually saw UFOs or whatever, whenever that came out like 3 years ago, and everyone went, right? Like, everyone just kind of went like, I don't know. I mean, can we believe anything? I don't know. What would happen? How's it going to affect my life? I don't know. Like, I'm on to the next thing.
It's an interesting question, though, if you think of like just a culture or society's ability to accept rapid change at all times. You know what I mean? Where that is, because that's sort of the definition, right? Of like, as people get older, they get more rigid, or their ability to see something, accept something new. And versus young people, like, oh yeah, it's all great, it's all good. But or maybe it's just that sense too of like priorities. Like, does this really even matter? Like, that's, you guys, we're just watching, you know, it's like we're watching the world change their like clothes every day. Like, everybody does that. That's not to be worried about, or whatever, you know, whatever the trends are, the thing is. And whereas us, like, this is so crazy. Why, in my day, we wore the same thing every day for 5 years. Like,
I still wear the same thing every day.
But you know, those kinds of things. And I think, but a lot of it too, you know, obviously, you know, with our beautiful journey into elderly states of existence, you know, I imagine, you know, again, our priorities have just changed. You know, your priorities change as you grow and mature and things. And it's just like, you know, like when we were kids, like, that's the beautiful part of that kind of like thing where we think we know about kids, or like, oh, I was one of you once. It's like, but you weren't, but I wasn't you. I wasn't that age at this time in the world. You know what I mean? Just like our parents 100%. Weren't our age at that time, you know, like they didn't understand Pac-Man just as much as their parents didn't understand the Beatles, just as much as we don't give a shit about skibbity toilets and, you know,
well, speak for yourself, but
I'm heavily invested. I've got a lot of crypto wrapped up in the skibbity coin right now.
The skibbity coin.
But yeah, all of those things, right? It's just we just get caught up in the little things, but it ultimately, you know, it's the big picture. You hope there's like the capacity for understanding and peace and love and, you know, protest and whatever all those things are.
Still go on a hike.
Granola.
It's just a little warmer now.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I'm sad. Sad.
Yeah, like,
I tried. But that was all I could
it's going. Like, we just go camping. It's way harder to get a reservation now because there's 3 times as many people as there were 20 years ago. Literally. But I don't know.
There's an app for that. We're still in the app world, right? We can still get a new app.
Yes.
Just get the app.
And again, I go back to my last conversation where I just don't believe that history exists, Randy.
Oh no,
it was all created.
Anti-history?
And so I think that, every day and every minute is just new, and we keep going, and we try to be nice people. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Control the things. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really do believe that history exists, everybody, by the way.
Right. But I think this idea of, of even just like questioning authority and all of those, the things where it's like, it's so much is related to the context of it, because it's the same strategies, and it's ultimately like the same human condition of like, nobody wants to be told what to do. No one wants to be felt like they don't belong. There's just basic, like same thing, like teenage bullshit that still rolls, solidifies into adulthood. But you know what I mean? Like you don't want authority, but you want safety. You don't want to be told what to do, but you want to have security and that it's going to be there the next day. All these kinds of things of like, I don't know. It doesn't really, but both sides in terms of a left-right sort of dichotomy in American politics and stuff. And I think being an election year, that's obviously what it feels like. It's undercurrent of everything in my brain every day is just, but it's like probably a lot of, the majority of voters day to day just want the same thing. Just want to, just get groceries, 100%. Get their kids through school, or get their kids into some version of a life that they feel is good, is safe for them, and then go do something fun before they die. That's about it. Like, I want to get the kids. Are the kids safe? Can I do something fun?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go ahead and fuck off and die. Like, that's about it. That's what my big plans for the rest of my life. The kids are safe. They're set up. They can do this on their own. They can survive. Cool. Can I get a vacation? Can I get some sun on my giant stomach near a body of water? Great. I'm good. This is it. I've done it all.
It's nice to have a concise and to the point bucket list, Randy.
Right? Yeah.
Nice and short.
You swap that out
don't need
with
too big of a bucket.
Whatever it is. The kids need a career. The kids need a college education. The kids need whatever that is that defines happiness in your book. And then your little moment of sunshine, whatever that is. You want to go to Florida. You want to go to Rome. You want to go to California. You want to go to wherever you want to go. You want to go do something, and then
visit a couple places.
Yeah, and then figure out what happens next.
Listen, even vacations are a new thing. People weren't going on vacations until very recently. So even that's the cherished moment to be able to go on vacation.
Leisure culture. Yeah. I love it.
Leisure. I mean, it used to take, I live in a vacation community.
Oh,
as I like
congratulations.
To call it. Yeah, thank you. I'm on vacation, figuring out how to be on vacation at all times. But but reading the old, the stories of the road that came up here, it's like an old logging road and whatever.
Oh, God, yeah.
People used to come up from LA, and it used to take 3.5 days to get from LA to Big Bear.
Good Lord.
Yeah, right. And you'd have to go up the 18 through.
Is with the horse
through Lake Arrowhead.
Load your wagon, get the horse,
get the wagon and everything, and you'd get up to the top of kind of like where we are, like Crestline, Arrowhead area, and there was like a hotel right there, and then you'd stop there, and then you'd go all the way across, and you'd go up to like Green Valley Lake area, like Running Springs, that area. That'd be day 2, and then from there you'd go to Big Bear, and so it was like a 3-day trip to go like what essentially is, I don't know, 60 miles or something.
Wow.
And that was like you made it, right? You're like in the woods. You're like way out here.
Yeah.
And now it's a place where it takes like an hour and a half. Go there for the day, have lunch, drive back, go skiing, whatever.
You got cell phone reception. You got indoor toilets.
You complain about traffic. You complain about all the people that and when it's snowing, they pull over to the side of the road. And I'm the king of complaining, by the way. This is not I don't want to pretend like I'm making fun of people who complain. I'm talking about myself.
It's a good hobby.
Complain all the way when I'm used to it taking 35 minutes and it takes an hour because people are parked out on the side of the road throwing snowballs at each other the first time they've seen snow maybe, and I'm like cursing them out to get their kids off the highway. which is true. You should probably get your kids. You probably shouldn't let your kids sled right on the highway on the side of a cliff. But
is that bad?
To each their own. Everyone likes to put their kids in a certain amount of danger.
Sure.
But now that's where or like you get up there and it's like the McDonald's is closed or whatever, you went to go
the
get
McDonald's
socks
ice cream machine is down.
And
exactly. You go to McDonald's,
right?
You can't get
and this
ice
is
cream.
like the biggest, like, how can we
travesty.
Exist? How can we live? This guy cut me off and I'm arguing with him in my head for the whole 2.5 hours it takes me to get home. I'm having a fight with this guy in my head that cut me off. And that's where I'm complaining. We're really, let's get back to this horse and buggy times in our head and go, you remember when these used to be special times, Randy. We'd go, it would take 3.5 days. Maybe someone would die on the way, but that's why you bring extra people, because you never know.
We're going to be fine. Yeah. Just a couple extra.
We're bringing
your
10,
auxiliary. You're an auxiliary person here. It'll be
8 make it. And hopefully the cook isn't one that perishes from Giardia on the way or whatever it was back then.
You mean and dysentery?
On the way back? Maybe dysentery.
You'd have to
lose the 2 more on the way back. But, that's why you
just described the Oregon Trail. I think this is just the game where Oregon Trail has never existed. There's no history.
That's really what...
It was a green screen with little yellow dots on it.
You're saying this didn't happen in real life?
No.
Did I play this on a computer game?
Yeah. It's a false
The Big
memory.
Bear Trail.
Yeah.
The Big Bear Trail. This is what I think
that's it.
That it was like. By the way, back then I would have never done that. I'd have been like, what? I'm going up there with a horse. There's I
can get dysentery
photos
here in town. Why do I have to go up there to get dysentery? Yeah.
Instantly. And who knows? I don't even want to walk down the street because the vendor hates me because I complain too much, and now and there's no gun laws.
Yeah,
and now
that's the
anything
truth.
could have happened back then.
We definitely would have been shot at by
instantly.
16 for just.
I would have complained way too much, and I would have been like, "You're the annoying guy on the block."
I'd make another one of you kids. I don't need this one.
Or they'd walk me out of town. Maybe isn't that what they used to do? Listen, you go.
Just go that way. Keep walking.
Leave your horse and start walking, buddy. Yeah, back in the days, back in the old California days.
Yeah,
the old West.
But
there are photos of people driving like Model Ts and Model As up, and they have like their wheels wrapped in whatever, I don't know, leathers, like leather straps or something.
Those T&As, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's all it is with you, Aaron.
But because they were, I want to say they were front wheel drive, and something with it. They used to have to drive in the snow. They'd have to drive them up backwards.
Oh Lord!
Because
because they had balloons for tires. I think is what it was. They just had like 2 large, long balloons. They'd tie in a circle. They'd get a balloon sculptor, a balloon. What do you call those people?
A ballooninator.
A balloonist.
Ballooninator, you mean?
Yeah, you'd have to tie those in a big circle.
A ballon, you mean?
Yeah.
A ballon.
And then you tie those to your thing, and they can make it like a little doggy. The side like a big wiener dog. You can tie that one up there. Balloon artist.
Gets really, vacation used to be crazy.
Yeah. You get some balloons tied on your wheels. Like it'll be great. Yeah, just
treacherous.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want? You want a dog? No, I don't want a dog. Okay, cool. Here's your dog. Here you go. Yeah. What do you like? Bunnies? No. Here's a bunny. Great. Have fun. Well, a snake. This guy wants a snake. Look over here. He's got a snake. It's green. Hey, have fun.
Hey.
The burned out balloon artists at the kids' party. Look at you. You look like somebody who wants a. I don't know. It's an egg. We gotta go take it. It's look, he's got a light bulb. He's got a bright idea. Okay, here you go.
Light bulb.
the laziest balloon artist.
He's like, aren't they supposed to be long and skinny? Like, no. That's the other guys. All the other guys do that.
Yeah, I'm the round one that doesn't really do anything. Just come up with ideas.
Doing one single floating cherry.
Yes. Hey, look at you. You won. Good job. Oh, look, it's a pear. Look, turn it over. It's a pear. See? That's great.
Well, you want me to draw a stem on it? Fine. Look, someone took a bite out of it.
Hey,
get out of here, kid.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will see you next Monday. This week we have. Oh yeah, I think I was teasing this last time.
You have a special guest.
We have a special guest. Well, I'll tease it here. I'll break the news. Anybody who's made it this far in the podcast.
Damn.
the one and only Mr. Dean Spunt, my co-partner in the No Age band, has a solo record coming out via Drag City this Friday. Everybody, if you want to get early crack at it, you can go to dragcity.com and order yours or sign up for pre-orders, whatever they got there. He's got I think really his first solo record ever. We talk about it. We get into it in the
awesome.
Interview. I cannot tell if it's a good interview or if it's the worst interview I've ever done, because I've had uncounted hundreds of hours of conversations with Dean. So I thought it'd be a funny one to figure out if we could really pull off anything resembling an interesting conversation this far into our friendship and working relationship.
Did you find anything new?
There's a lot of eye rolling
about each other.
We just rolled our eyes at each other and this makes for a horrible podcast. New thing? No, I tried. I think I tried. No, what did we get into? I think his dad was into talk radio. I think was the best new information I had. I did not know that his dad liked Rush Limbaugh.
You guys,
so it's really, we're digging, we're scraping that bottom of the barrel.
Wow, you really got in there.
At some point, as we talked, I was like, we probably could do each other's interviews. Like I could do an interview as Dean, he could do an interview as me, and we'd say the same things.
Maybe that,
or I know his story well enough, and he knows my story well enough. Somebody could ask us questions, and
that should have been the Halloween episode where you guys go as each other for Halloween and interview.
We've done
each
that
other.
Before. This has happened.
Really?
Aaron, we've publicly performed music for over 20 years. And there's really nothing that has not been thought of or been proposed or had somehow.
Fair enough. I'll check that one off the list.
That was No, our friend Ben made face masks of each of us and handed them out at a party, and so everybody was in. So I think I played with his face on my face, and he played with. We swapped faces for a show, at least for some photos. Yeah,
amazing.
That was good.
But
it's good though. I was excited. It was really one of those things. I was like, oh, well, is this going to work? Will this be funny? Will this be good? And I figured since he had a record coming out, it's monetarily, it financially made sense. It was a fiscal decision.
Fiscal decision. Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Yes,
I'll be the judge of that.
All right. Well, we will see you, or I will see you on Thursday with Dean Spunt, and then I will see you next Monday, end of September. We'll check in also on your Halloween plans. I feel like there was not much progress made for Halloween this week with you. So I want to know, think of write down all the Halloweeny things you encounter this next week, and we can discuss them on next week's show as we enter into October. We're like rounding the corner. The home stretch of Halloween-a-palooza is really heating up. I mean, this September is just the warm up, the pregame session for Halloween. Everyone can dress up, start doing stuff. But now I expect, maybe wear some horns, a little under eye makeup.
All right,
we'll get into it.
I do have
you have an assignment.
I do have a Home Depot story to share for next week.
Oh yes. So, yeah. Good. Okay, there we go. That's what we need.
I'll keep it there. But yeah, I can't wait till November 1st.
Classic halftime content. Say that's gold. Halftime gold. Don't
halftime gold. Just tune in.
Two
men
in their 40s talking about Home Depot.
And ladies.
I mean, if you couldn't. Yes. And when I had my wife Shannon on, I can't understand why she would not listen to this podcast. Just two men talking about it. Oh wait, you got a Home Depot story? Shit, save it for next time. It's too late in the episode. Don't give that away now. This is gold. I don't know. I have no idea why she's not riveted to this podcast every second of it.
She's like, you have a second podcast?
Like,
yeah, I've been doing two of them the whole time. She's like, why?
So I just appreciate you're not in the house. You're talking to somebody else.
Oh, that's what you're doing out there?
This is good.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Okay, fun.
Well,
that sounds cute.
I'll take your word for it. There's no way I can never verify that information. It's physically impossible for me to tune into your podcast.
I hear talking out there, but I thought it was just
questions. I was talking to myself.
Sometimes I've learned to just let you be you. That's where we're at.
I know. We definitely have to have an episode on Pump Up the Volume. I think the Godfather, the alpha, the Adam of podcasting, Hard on Harry, the Christian Slater character.
I gotta watch that again.
Broadcasting live on the airs. Oh yeah. It was life changing.
I mean, listen, we could also just build the thing and do pirate radio right off your roof.
There we go.
We could do it. I've done it before.
Well, I'm thinking I was going to go the other way, more like a Christian Slater-a-thon. Just look, I'll look at all the work of the young Christian Slater, the first, 4 or 5 movies. Heathers,
Gleaming the Cube.
Cleaning the Cube, Pump Up the Volume. I don't know where he fell off. Hard. What was it? Hard Tough? No, what was that one called? There was one where he like broke the fourth wall and like talked to the camera, and he was a cop. I'm like, this is really not going well.
Oof,
this is really,
I don't know.
The wheel started to come off there.
I feel like he was just really pushing the young Jack Nicholson thing for so long that eventually he just couldn't
turned into Jack
do
Nicholson.
it anymore. Yeah.
No, this is probably a terrible piece of cinema. I'm surprised no one's done it on any of these terrible movie podcasts I listen to. But it was Christian Slater was an actor who had to go undercover with a real police officer to learn about his, and I think James Woods is the cop, like a hard boiled kind of like down on his luck cop, and he gets saddled with the new fake cop.
Wow.
There's some
that's
like
a
there.
Die Hard. Like I feel like there were a lot of cop buddy movie, like
legal
80s,
Lethal
90s,
Weapon, post Lethal Weapon kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, Lethal really Weapon. But also Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, of course.
Right. Like there always is like the down on the luck cop and the hey, I'm here to help.
I'm your new partner, and like every iteration of that really happened, because it was so successful with Lethal Weapon. But the Odd Couple version of it, I think it really bottomed out at T-Rex, with where Whoopi Goldberg is partnered with a humanoid anthropomorphized Tyrannosaurus Rex.
What?
And her partner she has a dinosaur cop partner, and they have to stop dinosaur crimes. I think that to me I would consider like the end when you really like to scrape the bottom of a genre. It could be a whole
that
series.
One probably made the most money.
When did the genre die? What's the end of this sub
the jumping the shark?
That's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's
But beyond jumping the shark, like really just like the basement.
Dead.
The basement of a genre. This makes it be a mini series, a mini podcast. Because I've been trying to figure out, like, I love so many bad movie podcasts, and I love film. I'm trying to but everything's been done.
I mean, I feel like that concept alone getting greenlit is two writers in a room high-fiving themselves
with a lot of cocaine. Yeah.
No, just high-fiving and going,
press save, print it out, we're done. We did this.
We did it.
Theodore
we killed
Rex?
The genre. We do not.
Rex,
we don't have to shoot, or we don't have to write buddy cop movies anymore. We did it. We killed the genre, and they did it on purpose. They're like, finally, we can move on to writing something else.
Yeah. Well, it was I think we're good name, like death of the genre. We did like the basement floor.
Yeah.
We hit the basement. We killed Dead on Arrival. I think of some kind of name. We're like, what is the end of a genre? And first half is like, what is the genre? What defined the genre? What were the tropes that you had to do? And then how were they subverted? And then at what point does it go to the final? The what do you call it? Not the denouement, the denier, the nadir of the absolute end, like kernel of just like this is as collapsed, the black holeification of a genre. It's just totally broken and destroyed and cannot go any further. And then everyone just leaves it alone and just with their heads hung low and shaking, like let's never talk about this again.
Well, until the reboots come back, and then,
right,
and then you have like Hawaii 5-0 and
who was I just talking to? I don't know if this is even a podcast conversation, but I think the reboot is almost done. There's very few financially successful IP, like original IP based things, because we're almost getting to the point where you'd have to do the redo of the redo, which may violate or become the thing that really is the definition of the end of that thing. And I never thought that could really happen, that we could really find the basement floor of this like warmed over dog shit, thing. But I think there's only a handful of films that'll still come out, and then it has to then reset. But it can't.
Isn't like the Goonies? Like the
no, you know what I think it is
coming out.
I'll tell you what the one we know it's over when the rebootification is done is Back to the Future, because Back to the Future will only get rebooted once Zemeckis and Gale, Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, the writer and director of those, they have it in their clause, they had it in their contract that nothing can ever be done without the two of them unless they're dead, and they both have to be dead in order for those to get rebooted. There's a Broadway show of Back to the Future. Somehow that must have fallen outside of, because it's non-theatrical or it's non-filmed.
That's amazing.
But I think that's the one that when you go, okay,
but also
it's like the Smiths of like reunion, like it's not going to happen, or at least not.
Was that the first meta, like real meta, popular movie?
Ooh, no. What do you mean, the Back to the Future?
Yeah,
as a meta piece of cinema? No, I mean I feel like
really meta, where you're like, wait, but if he plays, then he starts fading because he's meeting his mom, and then it's not going to be a part of the future anymore, and it's not going to. And like getting that thoughts of like going back and then things changing,
crisis,
and
then I mean,
because now everything is meta.
Well, I don't know if we're necessarily using meta in that way. I mean, that's extra textual in the sense like that it's really special effects, and it's it's a time travel. I think it definitely would set the bar for time travel in film. You know what I mean? And sort of what those qualifications are, and the different, because even address it in like Endgame. There's like, is this like Back to the Future rules, or like no, this is more like these kind of rules. Like, is it that rule? Is it this rule? Like,
that's what I mean. Like, so could you even do Back to the Future now again without? Like, I don't even think it would. It would almost wouldn't work if they tried to redo the redo because they already redid it. They already like redid it multiple times. Are they going to Cybertruck it? Oh, come on.
I mean,
get out of here.
It makes the other thing with Back to the Future is just how Oedipal it is. You know what I mean? That was never. Yeah. I think depending on the culture of the time, I think that definitely doesn't cross over now as well. Whereas really, like he goes back in time to have sex with his mom. And it's like
a little weird.
There's
a little,
or get his dad to have sex with the mom, like because she just he fucks up.
Right.
There's a whole other
right because she falls in love with him, and yeah.
But in terms of metatext stuff, that's been going from the beginning. I mean, that's like narrators and Shakespeare stuff. But I think that'll be the end of the reboot, but it might not happen. So that that might just be off the table. But I think it's slowing down. I think the amount of viable IP from the 80s and 90s, because once you get into 2000s, then you hit really the TV run of like Scooby-Doo, the Brady Bunch, the Dukes of Hazzard, like that is already, what I mean? There's like the new ideas in film really slowed down.
Yeah.
The really like original IP did not, it starts to ramp down. So that if you keep going with it, it's less and less meat on the bone, or anybody's old enough to care. That's really what it is it's us. Like when our generation really starts to lose our minds and get kind of senile and have less working years left as we go into retirement and our mental faculties expire and our earning potential expires, all of this stuff will go away because it's only because we keep eating it up in our quest for like forever youth, or our Gen X slacker, quest for like, youthful experiences and things that remind us of our youth. Like,
also, are we going to need movies? I don't know.
Yeah.
Need long form cinema anymore?
Well, my favorite meme that I've seen is just for our generation and for like the Gen X and our younger or older millennials is that they'll just take over the abandoned malls and turn them into old folks' homes. And we can just walk in the malls. Like each, we all live in like a different store,
like a Forever 21.
Yeah, you have a Forever 21, wherever. Yeah, pick your store. You know what I mean?
GameStop.
Maybe get a KB Toys or something, and then and you have different themes of the stores, right? Yeah, the stores in the malls, and then you just have like an assisted living thing, and then you can walk the mall. You can go to the food court to eat.
Zoomies.
Like, our version of old folks' homes will just be either look like malls or literally just be in the mall. Because the malls are never going to come back to work.
Well, I mean, that's a wasted malls,
piece of real estate.
They do open malls in mornings for safe places for old people to walk around.
Yeah. We call it senioritis. Yeah,
Let's
there
go.
It is. There it is. We just could play those plays. The Fast Times at Ridgemont High on a loop.
Yeah, Blink 182.
Just keep it going. Mallrats will be on a loop in there. You can go to the movies. God. You have a whole thing. You just live at the mall. It'd be our dream.
Like. Just remember what it was like.
Put a hot dog on a stick.
We would go to the mall after school every day. This is amazing. Yeah.
Instead of going to Florida,
like the old days,
just go to the mall. We just live at the mall.
Look at how horrible the lighting is. Isn't it beautiful?
It's great. Want to go to the fountain?
Yeah, all right, I'm in. Only one, Glendale Galleria and the Americana will still exist, but everything else is gone.
The Puente Hills Mall where they shot the Twin Pines Mall in Back to the Future I just saw it's about to close down.
No way.
They better be putting an old folks home in there. Better not be trying to make condos. Well,
let's start on some branding ideas and start pitching it, Randy.
There we go.
I'm there.
Yep, we're in.
I'm in.
I mean, we only need we're in our in another 20 to 30 years, if we could. That's the thing, we'd have to invest in the real estate now. If the companies of our generation, if we invest in this real estate, just buy these things, just hold on to them, and then by the time we're old enough, then start packing people in there. Then our kids could retire off of that. It's perfect. Yeah,
they'll put us through retirement.
We'll be retired. They could do early retirement.
Yeah. We'll be in there skateboarding. It'll be like skate parks. All of a sudden, old people just never die because they're so healthy because all they do is live in a mall with a gym and the skate parks and we've got all these roller coasters and stuff. It's
it's all just become more metal hips. We just put it all be titanium and fiberglass.
Because we have an orthopedic surgeon who lives in 24B who just has a business there.
Yeah,
and you get all your
crack your back. What was it called? Yeah. Align your spine.
Yeah. Align your spine right before you go to the skate park.
What was the one that the Sharper Image? We'd all have Massaage chairs, and those little Newton's cradles.
Forever.
Yeah,
it actually becomes the perfect place of you guys wait. We figured out what malls really are for. They're for keeping old people alive forever.
That's it.
And
then our kids' generation will be so happy because we'll be done fucking up their world. They'll have their own.
You know what movie we watch all day? Cocoon.
There we go. The Cocoon. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, because we actually have the alien pods in a swimming pool.
And then all we'll talk about is Brad Pitt is 10 times older than Wilford Brimley was at this age. Our kids are the same age as Wilford Brimley is. Can you believe it? Our kids look so good. Our kids still look like they're 10 years old.
Did you know Cocoon is not allowed to be streamed?
Why?
We can get into that next week.
Oh, okay. Okay. Home Depot, Cocoon. Sorry, I went on.
Yeah. Home Depot and Cocoon next week.
Gotcha. Okay. Make a note. First things first. You'll kick it off next week. All right. Yes. Adios, everybody.